Most people think hitting a $100,000 net worth means you've made it. But truth is, that number isn't a finish line. It's the starting point of a totally different game, one most people never learn to play. Because the rules that get you to your first 100 grand, they're not the same rules that take you beyond it. In fact, some of them start working against you. Let's talk about what actually changes once your net worth crosses that line, and why the habits that got you here might quietly be holding you back. In American money culture, there's this grind mindset. Save every dollar, cut the lattes, stack cash. You're told to live like you're one bad month from disaster forever. And honestly, when you're starting out, that mindset makes sense. You need aggression. Every dollar feels like a soldier you send into battle. You're building from nothing, so frugality is a survival skill. But after your net worth crosses about 100,000, that same ultra-saving attitude becomes a trap. Because now you're supposed to shift from defense to offense, and that's where most people stall. They keep living like rookies when they're finally ready for the majors. Here's the blind spot. People stay obsessed with saving money, but not with using money. They treat cash like a dragon hoard instead of a tool. Building wealth under 100K is about discipline. Above it, it's about decisions. Not how much can I keep, but how can I make what I already have work for me? That mindset shift sounds simple, but for most Americans, it's terrifying. Because it means unlearning the habits that made you feel safe. Let's break it down. Say you've got $100,000 saved or invested. If that money sits in a basic savings account earning 0.5% interest, you're making about $500 a year. That's roughly $42 a month, barely enough for one grocery trip. But if that same amount is invested in something earning 6% on average, suddenly you're making $6 grand a year. That's $500 a month, basically covering rent in a small city. It's not risk-free, but it's the difference between your money sleeping and your money working. That's the quiet truth. At this stage, the value isn't in how much you stash, it's in the velocity of your capital. Your money needs a job. Let me put this in human terms. Meet Eric. He's 34, lives in Austin, earns around 85 grand a year working in tech support. He's responsible, careful, saves about 20% of his income. Over time, between his 401k, a Roth IRA, and a small emergency fund, he's built up just over $105,000. When he hit that milestone, his first instinct was to double down. Cut every cost, boost his savings rate even higher, maybe hit 150. But that's when something interesting happened. He realized his savings were producing almost nothing. His internet bill went up faster than his interest rate. He was saving hard, but moving slow. That's when he started noticing what wealthier people actually did differently. Not flashier cars or bigger houses, but smarter deployment of time, attention, and money. And it taught him 5 rules that basically flipped his perspective. Rule 1. Defense becomes automated. Before 100K, you personally manage every penny. You track, budget, agonize. That's good discipline. After 100K, the wealthy automate their defenses. Bills paid automatically, money routed straight to investments, cash flow handled by systems. Because time becomes more valuable than the tiny wins from micromanaging. Spending 2 hours searching for a lower insurance rate might save you $100 once. Spending those same 2 hours building a system that automatically saves or invests keeps paying off forever. Your energy used to maintain discipline shifts to designing systems that preserve it. Rule 2. Cash flow outranks cutting costs. Under 100K, every saved dollar feels like a victory. After 100K, your focus moves to creating flow, continuous inflow. Dividends, side income, or steady returns from diversified investments. The goal isn't to save forever, it's to make saving unnecessary. Once your assets generate consistent flow, you stop trading time for stability. That's when life opens up. Rule 3, your time is the new currency. Below 100K, money is scarce. You trade your time to earn it. Above 100K, time becomes scarce. You use money to buy it back. Eric saw this firsthand. He realized outsourcing an annoying monthly task, for example, paying someone $150 a month to handle yard work, freed up hours he could spend building freelance clients or just resting enough to show up sharper at work. At first, he felt guilty spending that money. Then he realized if those freed hours led him to even one extra $500 project, he wasn't being lazy, he was being efficient. Wealth isn't just assets, it's control of your hours. Rule 4. Leverage is the new status. When you don't have much, you measure success by what you own. When you start building wealth, how you use ownership matters more. Leverage isn't only about debt, it's the ability to make each action produce outsized results. That might mean investing in better skills, creating something that scales, or using borrowed money intelligently to grow assets. The wealthy don't brag about what they buy, they focus on what they control. Owning 1% of a company that earns $1 million a year is better than owning 100% of a hustle that burns all your weekends. That shift from status to leverage is where real acceleration happens. Rule 5. Protection over perfection. When you're building your first $100,000, the fear of losing progress drives everything. You play it tight. After $100,000, your goal becomes survival of momentum. You start thinking in terms of protection, insurance, diversification, backups, low-drama decisions. The rich aren't focused on being perfect investors. They're obsessed with staying in the game. They build moats. They detach emotions from volatility. Because once your base compounding engine starts spinning, your number one job is to not blow it up. Eric learned this when a friend convinced him to gamble on a crypto project. He put in a few thousand, watched it vanish, and realized people protect what they respect. Once he started treating his savings like a business, careful, steady, protective, his anxiety dropped and his portfolio grew. Let's zoom out. If Eric's $100,000 earns him $6,000 a year passively, that's $500 a month of freedom. $500 doesn't sound huge, but it represents time. Maybe it covers groceries or half a mortgage or one major bill, which means every month those dollars are buying him hours he doesn't have to trade away. Once you start seeing money in hours, how each gain, each interest payment, each automated system buys slices of your finite life, you can't unsee it. That's the real payoff past $100K. Your future income becomes an engine of time ownership. Our culture glorifies income. People brag about what they make, but not what they keep or how efficiently they use it. But income is just leverage, fuel for decisions. The flex isn't earning $200,000 a year if your lifestyle eats 190 of it. The flex is freedom. After $100K, doubling your net worth isn't about doubling your income, it's about quadrupling your control. Every dollar you save or reinvest at this stage compounds faster because it's already part of a functioning system. It's like going from pedaling a bike to maintaining a small engine. You stop sweating for speed, you start steering for direction. So, what should you actually do differently after $100,000? 1. Shift from saving to structuring. Automate your money flows, bills, savings, investing, so decisions happen without emotional effort. 2. Upgrade your attention, not your lifestyle. Keep lifestyle creep in check. Use new income to grow assets, not inflate comfort zones. 3. Get specific with risk. Don't fear every investment, fear the wrong ones, the ones you don't understand. Learn, diversify, stay steady. 4. Buy back your hours strategically. If hiring help or using tech tools frees mental space for higher value work or peace, that's a good trade. 5. Guard momentum, not milestones. The goal isn't hitting one number, it's maintaining steady compounding without drama. These aren't billionaire secrets, they're sustainable upgrades that help you stop working for money and start working with it. Here's what most people get wrong. The first $100,000 isn't proof you're done, it's proof you can. You've built the foundation, shown discipline, created stability. Now the mission shifts from climbing to compounding, from hustling to maintaining velocity. Wealth beyond that threshold stops being about beating scarcity and starts being about buying freedom of choice.
Eric eventually realized his milestone wasn't a wall, it was a doorway. He stopped obsessing over growing faster and started designing a life that needed less effort to sustain. And that's the hidden promise of reaching 6 figures in net worth. Not trophies, not bragging rights, it's command over every future decision. Once you cross that line, your job changes, from stirring the pot to letting the recipe cook, from chasing money to shaping time. That's the real wealth, quiet control, built on purpose. And it all starts right after the first 100,000.